welcome to Ragazza Italiana. I'm Francesca.
And I'm Joelle, and we have another amazing show for you today. We want to thank you for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, Francesca?
I'm really good.
What's new?
This weekend, Mike Marino, the comedian, who is hysterical from New Jersey, the one that says, make America Italian again. And if we had an Italian president, called me. Unexpectedly, he does that every now and then, and we had a good conversation. And he actually has a young girl from Russia that moved to Canada with her mom and nanny, drive all the way to Jersey to see his show not too long ago. And she just loves him so much, and he made her hot dogs at his house. I think it's the cutest story ever.
That's adorable.
And Mike Marino is coming on our show in November when he's here at the Laugh Factory, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He's so funny.
So you have a new mascot, I see, to the left of you.
I do. This is Mindy, and everybody who's on my Facebook or knows me personally knows that she's my little sweetheart.
Aw.
So,
hi, Mindy. Welcome.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I have Ave Maria and Sparky hanging out on the couch. They sort of got used to each other a little bit. They were kind of frustrated. But anyway, so
I do have a trivia question.
You do?
Let's
do.
Hear it.
Let's hear
okay. Who painted the Mona Lisa?
Mona Lisa, men, they love you. Who painted it?
Either, I'm going to give you a choice, and let's see if you get it right. Either Leonardo da Vinci or Picasso.
I'm going with Picasso.
Ding, 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 ding. Wrong.
Oh, okay.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay.
Doesn't it sound like a trick question? Because either or could, you know what I mean? Because they're just so.
You know, it's so funny. I went to Italy when I got married the second time, and my ex-husband and I bought this beautiful Picasso glass-blown statue that he still has to this day. And when you said Picasso, that made me think of that.
We want it back, by the way.
Finders keepers. No.
Losers weepers. Oh, she's weeping.
Oh, my God.
Just kidding.
So,
Just kidding.
What else?
That's really
all. Oh, wait, we didn't talk about the gut. And I
yeah.
And I don't mean the fat gut around your belly that you get over 50. I'm talking about your gut. Like, when you feel something in your gut, chances are you're right. So I want to remind you, when you feel something strange, tap into that. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Especially when you're dating someone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you feel like something's not right.
Yeah. Look for those red flags.
You should be a private investigator. No, I'm just kidding.
Hire a private investigator. But anyway, here's something that I want to tell everybody, whether it's a man or a woman. If you can love the wrong person that much, imagine how much you can love the right one.
person.
Yeah.
Right.
So just, if you're going through a breakup, some of my friends are, just keep that in mind that, have time for yourself, but just there's so much hope in the future for the new love of your life.
I always say, you don't know what's coming. And so perhaps when something ends, something wonderful is coming. Like they say, when a door closes, a window opens. And it is true. You don't know what's coming, and you have to embrace change. Change isn't always easy, but change is good. Speaking of change, I performed a wedding ceremony for a dear friend of mine this weekend, and it was so much fun to be outside. It's a beautiful time of the year. In the evening, they had an evening wedding. My dear friends Lori and Dave. And, she had never been married, and she met him in her 50s. Not to give that away, but she just had a lovely wedding and so happy. And she always used to say, I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to get married. And you just don't know what's coming. You don't know who's going to fly into your life. I find that love is a beautiful thing. And love is something that you can't explain, right?
I love love. And I love to see people in love and expressing love. And
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So speaking of love, when we come back, I'm going to call Grandpa Potty Mouth, and he's going to tell us about some stories that he loves.
We'll be right back.
Nieve Melandra Boutique is your one-stop shop for the hottest looks from casual to the red carpet. We have stunning and affordable gowns, and we will help you put your own complete look together with a variety of accessories, including shoes. We have the trendiest and most appropriate look for your Vegas vacation or your night out on the town. You can shop online at melandraboutique.com or visit us at our location in Summerlin, Buffalo, and Alta. The address is 450 South Buffalo Drive.
And we are back.
So, I want to share some news with you that Chris and I are working on our summer show. We started this last year. It's called Live from Las Vegas. And him and I have brought some of the great production numbers from Las Vegas, and we take everything out on the road. Initially, I was doing Cher. He was doing a lot of Frank Sinatra. But this year, we're doing some different stuff. And I've decided to do a Bobby Darin bit. And on the phone with us right now is Grandpa Potty Mouth. Hey, Dad, how are you?
Like shit.
That's a great way to start the show.
Hi, Grandpa Potty Mouth. This is Francesca. How are you?
Francesca.
Oh, I see that.
Come
There we go.
Hey, que quoi? So, Dad, my father and I were talking about Bobby Darin. And, Dad, you sent me some incredible photos of you and Bobby Darin, and I'm going to share those now. And tell me, when were these photos taken?
It's marked on, I think, 1973?
Okay. And what were you doing then?
He had a pacemaker on.
But, Dad, what were you doing? You were working for him?
Yeah, when he came in to perform at the Hilton, I used to escort him from his room down to the stage, his dressing room. And we used to bullshit quite a bit. He loved to go camping, and he loved the outdoors. And I told him, I said, I got a friend that lives up in the mountains, and I know a few places you can go up there and camp out if you like to go to Mount Charleston. And he said, oh, yeah. So he used to go up there and camp out quite a bit in Mount Charleston. And he drove an old station wagon, and hell of a performer. I mean, this guy put on a 2-hour solid show, and after every number, he used to have to go behind the curtain and take some oxygen, and he had a big oxygen tank there to breathe, and then he'd go back out and perform again.
Wow.
And he played numerous instruments. He was very well talented. I mean, and he gave you 2 hours of a great show.
Wow.
I mean, he was phenomenal. And what a great guy to talk with, too. And when he left from the Hilton, he'd go out the back where the employees used to park. He parked his car there, and he wore blue jeans and sneakers and a captain's cap with a windbreaker and a T-shirt. You didn't know who the heck he was. Walked right by you.
Now, I heard he was bald. Is that true?
What's that?
I heard he was bald.
Yeah, he was. He had a beautiful toupee on.
He had his toupee back in the day.
A beautiful toupee.
Not just a toupee, Dad. A beautiful
one.
toupee. I'm talking about beautiful toupee. You're hilarious. That's great. And he just loved you, didn't he?
Yeah, he used to give me $50 every time he came in just to get all this information off me and bullshit with me. And he was a great guy. And I sent you off one of the letters that he sort of gave to me with the 50 before he'd leave.
Oh, wow.
You know, after his performance was totally over. And you could show that if you're showing with the picture.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's in his handwriting.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, that little note he left for you is really sweet, too. I can't wait to do this tribute to him. I've had 2 songs charted from Dave Perico. Did my charts for the show because we're going to have a 10-piece band. Chris has a 10-piece band in the East Coast that he's performed with for years. So we're going to have the 10-piece band. Yeah, so,
Pretty good.
And also, too, Dad, I wanted you to know that I am doing an Elvis medley. I'm going to be talking about Elvis, and I have a few Elvis songs. And I bought an Elvis jumpsuit online.
Wow.
So it'll be really cute. So I'm anxious to video the show, and I'll share some excerpts with you. The show takes place the end of July, beginning of August in the East Coast. We have some dates in the Courthouse Theater in Rhode Island, and we'll be in...
Whereabouts on the East Coast you're going to be to do that?
Yeah, in the Fulcino Wine Vineyard in Hollis, New Hampshire, and in the Courthouse Theater in Rhode Island. So we're excited about that. We only get a chance to go out a couple times a year with our own show because Rat Pack keeps us quite busy. And, we don't want to ruin our role over there with Rat Pack. It's a wonderful, wonderful run. And so we're pretty blessed. But having our own show has its perks, and we surely do enjoy going and doing our own thing. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dad, we love you, and so glad that you
Great.
came on the show today. You got to come in person one of these days so everyone can meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
Yeah, we'll plan on it. All right, have a good day.
All right,
Okay.
you too. Take care.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Francesca.
Bye, Dad. Grandpa Potty Mouth.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's
It's
funny.
hilarious.
But he's really not feeling that well, so.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
You know what he's doing this weekend? He's coming over. He found these 8mm tapes of us when we were kids, and he found the projector. And so Sunday, I invited him to come over, and we're going to play through some of those old 8mm
Yeah,
tapes.
how cool.
I've got to get. Oh, what do you know? Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the
We'll
Bell.
Be right back. Oh, we are back. I have on the show today the most incredible 6-time Grammy Award winner, my dear friend and engineer producer, and he is a man of many hats, James Bonzai Caruso. Hi, sweetie.
Hey. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's so
Happy
good to have
be
you
here.
here.
Really happy to be here.
So, Francesca was asking you, you originally come from?
I was born in New Jersey, but my family came from Napoli, just outside of Naples, in a little mountain villaggio called Cervinara, and another. My grandfather was from Cervinara. My grandmother was from Pirtecino, and Pirtecino is a sleepy little, tiny little village with next to zero population. But all of a sudden now it's become a mecca because of Padre Pio.
Padre Pio?
Yeah, he
was from there?
He was canonized.
He was
as
canonized
a
as
saint.
saint, yes.
But
I know all about
he
that.
married my grandparents.
Really?
Yeah, so now the town is like they're building hotels and it's a big tourist destination. It's pretty interesting.
Wow. He had the bleeding womb.
Yes.
And,
he
and
did.
there's a name for that, Catholicism, there's a name for that, and I forgot it. But
There's a movie. Yeah, there is a name. It'll come.
That's
he's
great.
like really the real McCoy
Yes,
when it comes to, performing miracles. Of course, always through Jesus Christ, but I mean, I think Christ used him as a tool.
Stigmata.
Wow.
That's
Stigmata, that's what it's
Really?
called, yeah.
So,
You guys
yes.
are educating me today. That's very good.
So this little village is now becoming a tourist destination. It's interesting to see.
And by the way, because my family, both my parents, I'm first generation on my father's side and second generation on my mother's side, they have light eyes in Naples. So my grandfather had crystal blue eyes, that's where you get your light eyes from. I have the hazel eyes like my father, and my mother had green eyes. I don't know why Naples people have light eyes, but I love it, it's all good.
My mother's green eyes.
Yeah.
My brother's light green eyes.
See? See?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, but it was great growing up with them. They came here to this country as young. I think they were 20 years old or 19, and had 8 children here. And,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Never went to hospitals.
Right.
Everything like squat in the kitchen, have a baby.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
strap it
for
to your
real.
breast, and you're back in the
Moving
garden.
on. That's it.
Yeah, but growing up with 200 tomato plants in the yard and basil everywhere, garlic and onions and zucchini like baseball
Yes.
bats. And,
Zucchini like baseball
Yeah.
bats. We used them as weapons, okay, people?
you can hurt people with and just
Yeah.
having such an abundance of tomatoes that we would just jar them for the
Yeah.
winter. So during the winter months, like in February, it's snow and 5 degrees out. My mom would say, go to the basement, get some pomodoro.
Yeah.
Get the
Pomodoro.
and you pop the mason jar with the basil leaf on top, and it's like August in the middle of February. It's like
Beautiful.
that fresh tomatoes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was great. And we had such a surplus that I would take to the neighbors, so all the neighbors up and down the street, just knock on the door and say, here's a couple hundred tomatoes.
Yeah. That's how it was,
Yeah.
growing up. It was,
awesome.
everybody was a family
Yeah,
on your
yeah.
street,
Yeah.
Everybody
absolutely.
watched each other's back, too.
And they all lived to be 100, 102,
Yeah.
104, because they never ate processed food. It was always fresh from the garden.
So true.
And lots of veggies. They ate meat and drank a lot of wine.
Hello, a lot of homemade wine.
Yeah.
Speaking of wine, people,
Oh,
okay, I have to admit, if I'm a little like tipsy right now, it's because it's their fault. Especially
not
Liz.
my fault.
I had nothing to do with it.
But you,
Listen, it
he
was
brought the wine,
11:30
okay?
a.m., we're
and
having a
she
little-
poured it for me, and
Well, you can't
I
eat
drank some.
Parmigiano Reggiano without a little sip of red. You got to just a little sip of Dagos. We're not
Yeah.
alcoholics. We just have to have a little bit.
Oh, I might become one after today.
Nah.
I'm serious because I like the way I feel, and it tasted really good.
Tastes
Anyway,
All right, we're going out
dogs.
later.
There you go.
rehab tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Good.
So they moved to this country in.
I think the 1920s,
Wow,
1930s, 1920s, I believe.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you been back there to your country?
Several times, yeah. I go. I used to go like every year, but it's been quite a few, 6 years since I've been back. And usually when I go, I plan on staying for 2 weeks. I end up staying for a month.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to
I don't
stay
want to
for a
come
month,
back.
they say,
Yeah, you have to.
And they smother you.
So you have your family. You know who your family is
Yeah,
back there.
actually, I have more family in Italy than I have in the United States.
Jeez.
Yeah, dozens of cousins. And
Really?
they
That's
smother
amazing.
you when you arrive.
Yeah.
They want to wash your laundry by hand and feed you every 10 minutes. Stanno fame, you're hungry. Mange. Every 10 minutes.
Oh, stanno fame.
You just love this. Wow.
Every 10 minutes.
Oh,
Mange.
Yeah.
And then out comes this, out of the pasta and the meat and the chicken and the fish and the broccoli. And it's you're just sitting there like, I can't eat anymore.
and I gotta go for a walk.
Yeah, dopo mangiata fatta una passeggiata.
Eat more pasta. Eat double your pasta, or you.
I mean, that's just the appetizer,
Yeah,
but it's huge.
yeah.
It's like, and then comes the meat, and then
Yeah.
go the fish, and then the veggies, and of course the salad afterwards.
And then they sleep for 2 days. No, I'm just kidding.
Tell you, you
But,
gotta take the
yeah.
nap. I mean,
2
I'm
hours.
still
It's
a
a
napper. Are you a
siesta.
napper?
No.
Oh, I'm a napper.
It's a
Every
siesta.
day. I'm a siesta sleeper.
And you
yeah.
fall into that rhythm. It's kind of a natural rhythm where you wake up early, you have an espresso and cafe, and then not really breakfast, maybe a biscotti or
Yeah.
brioche, a little something small, and then by 1 o'clock. You're starving. Everybody's hungry, and then stop work, stop everything, mange.
And red wine, and I know it's.
For 2 hours.
It's amazing.
And you fall into that rhythm, and then some people take a nap right afterwards, or
Yeah.
go for a walk, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go back to work again, which is just for a few hours. But they eat late, like 8, 9 o'clock. But they eat light, like a salad or fish, or There's some people who eat heavier than others, or pizza or whatever. But you fall into that rhythm, and it just your body gets used to it, and it works. They've been doing it for thousands of years.
Exactly.
Years.
And also, I've done the research that Italy has come in as the #1 country, the healthiest country in the entire world. And they have longevity there, like unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chinese.
Right. My grandfather lived to be 100. His sister was 102. His other sister was 104.
they're clearly doing something right.
I don't want
Clearly.
to. I don't know. I'm in so much pain right now. I can't feel my fingertips, and I had my hip done. And what is going on with our culture? Like all of us are falling apart.
Yes,
and our
true,
families, they were
true.
like, "Hey, we're living to be 100." I'm like, I don't want to be
that's
100.
true.
Never mind, don't talk about it,
Ah,
right?
it's
Yeah,
crazy. So you have been an amazing engineer and producer. Tell us about your career. It started in New York.
Or before that in New Jersey as a teenager, I played guitar and took lessons. But a friend of mine had this little reel-to-reel machine where we can record on one channel, rewind it, and then record on the other. It was called simul-sync in those days. I'm
Wow.
talking about, this was 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
But I just was fascinated
Right.
by sound in general and music. Music was a savior to me. I don't know. It just spoke to me in such a way that it's like even when I was 7, 8 years old, I knew that's what I want to do.
It's in your DNA.
Yeah. So there's another story with that. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
But so I started playing guitar and I was graduating high school and deciding what to do. And I lived in the country in New Jersey, about an hour and a half outside of New York City. It was beautiful. I worked on farms. I took care of horses and cows. And I was like, I want to get out. I was 17 years old. I was like,
Yeah.
I've had enough of this. Let me get out of here.
You want the city life.
So
you
I
know?
love. I stole my mother's car one night and drove to
My kind
New
of
York
guy.
City, and I fell in love. I'm like, and then I heard NYU at that time. There was a division of NYU. It's no longer a division, now it's a separate entity, but it's called the Institute of Audio Research. And it was for recording and audio engineering, and I was like, that's where I want to go. So I moved by myself to New York City as a teenager, and got a job in a studio with Todd Rundgren.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Secret Sound in those days. He sold it, and I started working there, and just started learning, soaking up everything, and these new things came out, these drum machines. You know, and I started learning how to make beats and these little drum machines, and this is the early 80s. So it just kept going. You know, I started working, you know, I come from like, you know, I like rock music and Neil Young and you know, that kind of stuff, and the Grateful Dead and all that stuff. But when I got there, I saw, you know, it opened up my mind musically to like hip hop. I started doing hip hop, working with Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, and then
you opened up new doors to expand your horizon.
And Alicia Keys, right?
Yeah.
She came later?
Yeah, that was later on. I just did one record with her a few years ago, but
hey, there's people who do no records with her, so that's
but I was with Puffy for about 4 or 5 years, and CNC Music Factory for about 4 or 5 years in New York. And it just was, I've been so blessed to work with great artists and be able to travel the world and work in Australia, work in Italy. Speaking of which, I did this record with Rita Pavone.
Hey!
Oh, yeah.
And she's wonderful. What a little powerhouse. I don't think she's 4'10" maybe, but what a powerhouse of a singer. She was great. And we did a bunch of old standards like the Bobby Darin stuff and all that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, so there's another guy in Italy I've been blessed to work with. His name is Fiorello. Do you know Fiorello? He's like the Howard Stern of Italy. So he has a radio show, and he makes fun of politicians, and he does the voices of politicians.
I like that.
So
I like that twisted humor.
Yeah, he's hysterical. I've been on a show a couple of times, and he has a TV show and a radio show.
Does he speak English or just Italian?
Yeah, he's pretty good with English. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Okay.
And I became really good friends with his maestro, who we've been friends for a long time. His name is Enrico Cremonesi.
Hey.
And he is...
That sounds like a dessert.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He's awesome. He's amazing. A pianist and composer. Actually, he scored the music. I stayed with him for months in Italy. He scored the music for the Winter Olympics in Torino. So I stayed 2 months or more, and 2 hours he composed 2 hours of music that we played in the skybox at the arena for the opening ceremonies of the Winter Paralympics. With Berlusconi next to us in the next.
Oh my God!
It was nuts. So there were guys with AK-47.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm just like, hey, I'm just playing the music.
Playing the button. Don't mind me.
Nerve-wracking because I got 2 headphones on, 2 set. They're yelling at me in Italian, yelling at me in English, saying, "Cue the music, cue the music." No, not now. Cue. Aspetta. The guy walks to the podium. Ladies and gentlemen. It's like you guys are. It's nerve-wracking.
Oh my gosh.
Nerve-wracking. It was fun though. It was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. I did one Olympic Games in LA in 1984. I was part of the dance production section, and it was.
So you were 12.
I was 12. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
No, not even.
Time is just ticking on by. Speaking of which, I put a picture up today of. I don't know, it was 30 years ago when I was in Crazy Girls. Put it up on Facebook, and it's hilarious. But it's amazing how much time has gone by.
Yeah.
You and I worked on a record together. I was just delighted to be able to be in your presence.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. With Greg.
With Greg Maduro.
Yeah.
We actually
That
went
was a lot of fun.
to Rochester and released it. And were you with us then? No, you didn't.
Didn't
come to
drop for
Rochester.
that, but yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but it was really fun.
Yeah, that was a fun project.
It was a good project. So.
I watched some of the video. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, we'll show some of that video too.
We're going to show our audience some of that video.
Well, it was funny because that video was shot several years ago here when I was working on my original project, and I was trying to merge some music with you because I think you were working with BB and CC Winan.
Oh, yes.
And I was trying to get involved in the crossover market, the Christian crossover market, and so we had discussed some of that, but yeah, it was quite fun.
Nice.
So what are you doing to keep your traditions alive? Do you cook on a regular basis? Yeah.
all the time
All
for
the
my
time.
family, and they love it. And I love cooking.
And the kids love it.
It's an art, yes. And I cook way too much, so the next day there's plenty leftovers. But excuse me.
And your beautiful wife, she's Italian also, right?
Jewish mix.
Okay.
I think there's a
Little
little
bit.
Italian in
That's
there
okay.
somewhere.
That's good. Does she cook as well?
Not really.
That's okay. She's got a guy that does it for her.
Sandy,
That's all right.
she's a great lady.
Yeah, she's
so
wonderful.
that's
She's
awesome.
amazingly
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So, but yeah, keeping the traditions alive, mostly cooking and some musical things, but not as much as I'd like to. Actually, I'd like to be over there making more music, especially with Enrico. He's amazing. He's such a great composer.
Wow.
So I really enjoy working with him.
We're going to summon you to the kitchen at some point and have you do some cooking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bonsai in the
Let's
kitchen.
do it.
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
up
it.
for that.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now? What can we find you doing if we look in the future?
Recent releases in the last couple of years, a lot of reggae. So I've been doing lots of reggae
I
music.
love reggae.
So for the last 20 years or so, I've been doing tons of reggae music with the Marleys, with Stephen Marley and Damian Marley. But more recently, Chronix, this guy Chronix, who's amazingly talented. He's just wonderful to work with. Amazing songwriter, amazing artist. Protege is another one. He's fantastic. Actually, there's an artist that's performing here tomorrow night at the Hard Rock. Her name is Natalie Rise, and so been working with her. And more recently, like right now, with a woman from. She's a young girl from Antigua.
A young woman.
Yeah, beautiful artist, amazing voice, amazing talent. Her name is Asher Otto, and I just came back from Antigua. We're just starting this project with her. She's amazing. I'm so excited to do this.
Oh, that's so cool.
That must feel so incredible to put your hands and help mold the stardom of these young artists. And how do you think they differ from years ago? Do you think that they are more entitled today, or do you think that they have different attributes for today? Like, what is your take on that?
Well, it's a wide variety, a wide range there that you're speaking of. But what's changed a lot is the industry. The music industry is so different, and even to this day, as we speak, it's redefining itself. Right?
Yeah.
It's really like trying to figure out where it's going. It's become a singles-oriented, more of it, I shouldn't say.
Like you release a single as opposed to a record or an EP.
More
Like
so
you don't
than
do
it-
that anymore.
More
Yeah.
so than it used to. People are still, obviously, you got your Beyoncés, or they're dropping albums like all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
But for independent startups, it's just like release, getting that momentum going and that buzz going by dropping a single and having the next one ready for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks later or 6 weeks later, whatever, to keep that
Keep the ball
momentum.
rolling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's become that type of the industry has become geared towards that singles.
And the attitudes of these new up and comings, do you feel that they have this millennial stature, or do you think that they've or do you don't really see that because they're hungry?
Some of them do. Yeah, I've been blessed to work with
Respectful.
Yeah, really respectful and talented and responsible artists that are true to their career and true to the core. Not like just like, oh, maybe I think I'll do this for a little
Yeah.
while. No, I've been really blessed to work with people that are dedicated and responsible in that regard, which is awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
cool, yeah.
Well, we want to thank you so very much for driving all the way out here to Egypt, where I live. No teasing.
West
I-
Berlin.
Coming in with.
I have,
West Berlin.
I have a quick Italian joke for you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Do.
love it.
Let's hear it.
There's a term for a person who speaks Italian but only has one arm. What do you call that? Speaks Italian but only has one arm.
We don't know.
It's called the speech impediment. Because you need 2 arms to speak.
I love it. That
How
is
many
so
people
good.
are watching today? Have a speech impediment.
You don't talk like this. I don't, and then,
Hey!
Or like this, if you're pissed.
or
like this.
You know what's a
Remember
good
this?
one? This.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Piace.
Or like
Yeah.
this when the women bite their
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even this.
Yeah. You better run. Hey,
Oh,
where's
this
my
one.
wooden spoon? There's no wooden
You didn't
spoon
get-
here
you're
today.
fired.
I'm fired. That's it. Pink
Where's the
slip
wooden
gone.
spoon?
Yeah, right.
We're gonna
Grandma
get it
used to
when we
hit me
close
with the
show.
wooden spoon. She used to hit me.
Well, this is not the last time we will be seeing you. Next time we'll see you, we're going to watch you cut up some garlic with a razor blade.
Let's
in the
do
kitchen.
it. Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Just like they did on Goodfellas,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah,
Remember
with the razor
Paulie?
blade.
When Paulie was in prison on Goodfellas, he's going to do it like that and better. So there, Paulie. Hey.
Hey. Well, thank you so very much for coming on our show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll be
Thanks
right
for the
back.
food.
Oh, God. That
And the
food.
wine. I'm drunk.
Hello.
No, just kidding.
Let's mange.
Let's go on. Hey.
Hey, we'll be right back.
Feels like climbing a ladder to find out into somebody else's wall. Tipping the scales on your roller line 'cause you think it's better than this. I go through seasons of time, don't look at nobody else.
Hey, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We had such a great show today, didn't we, Joelle?
Wonderful show.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
James Bonzai Caruso, what an incredible story. We look forward to having him back so he can cook in our kitchen.
Absolutely.
With the razor blade and the garlic. Hey!
Oh, hey, what can I say? And Mindy, too. Look at
Oh,
her.
Mindy,
She's like...
she's pooped.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
pooped. And she
right.
did not poop in the house, by the way, thank God. But anyways, who do we have on the show next week? Tell our audience.
Next week we have Darren Motamedi.
Yes.
Another good Italian saxophone player. And he's amazing. He has an incredible story about how he's keeping his roots alive here in Las Vegas.
Oh, I love it.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate you tuning
Yes.
in.
Thank you so much. And we love you guys. We love our fans so much.
Salute tutti. Ciao.
Ciao. So I'm already getting buzzed.
Take it easy. You're driving home. You got that dog.
No, I know. Hello.
Just mine.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
It's
I
good.
wanna taste-
Well, you can add this to the show.
I am.
So,
I would love to taste that tomato.
I'll just throw this in as a behind the scenes.
Oh, it's a pepper.
Goat cheese on top.
Oh.
shut it.
OMG.
Good. Clark.
Oh my gosh.
See,
So
I'm already-
Bonzai
I'm
shows
already
up
getting buzzed. I
with
thought
the bread
pepper was a tomato.
and the wine
Oh my God.
at 11 a.m.
Good.
Hey.
This is so good.
Okay. All right.
I've never had one.
Honey, you don't want to try any? I know it's 11 a.m., but who cares?
Oh, yeah.
So what? Who
11
cares?
is lunchtime.
So
Yeah.
it's here.
In Italy, have you ever been? You know. So 11:30, 12 o'clock. Hey, you're drinking wine, you're eating some serious food and
Oh my God. I know.
I'm gonna try one. Let me try one of those things.
wow.
It looked good. I said, let
It
me
is
try it.
so delicious. I want to try that cheese. Can you grab me a piece of cheese?
Yeah. But you don't know Parmigiano Reggiano? You're supposed to take a sip of the wine and then eat a little bite of
Oh,
the
really?
cheese.
Yeah.
Another sip of one.
A sip of the wine. Wait, a sip of the wine. And then the cheese, right?
A little taste. It's a little taste, right? It's so good.
And then another sip of wine.
Oh my God.
That's how I do it.
Okay.